This meeting is being broadcast on Facebook Live.
And welcome to Level Up, real talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome, 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 everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, everyone who is watching us on Facebook. Did you guys know you can head on over to The Real Level Up? That's The Real Level Up on YouTube. Yes, we are doing a simulcast once again on Facebook and on YouTube. Well, thank you guys for joining us this great afternoon. I'm going to let you guys know that I am broadcasting somewhere in the Atlanta area. Won't give you a pinpoint where I am, but we are sunny and crisp today. And who we have in the studio by way of Blue Jeans, yes, we have our guest co-host today, Miss Gina A. Towns. How are you, Gina? What's going on with you, girl? Can you hear me? You're on. We're on live. I don't know if she can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
See, the doctor is like, look, and I can hear you. Can you talk to me? Hey, hey, Dr. Geoffrey, how are you? What is going on? Thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I have been looking forward to this.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how much I have been looking forward to having you on as well. Now, let me ask you. I see that you have scrubs on, and where are you now, doctor?
I am working clinically today in the ER. Just so happened this is the call room. I happen to be working in this rural small ER, and it's quiet. I think it's mainly because of the snowstorm that we had here recently.
Oh, I understand. I got you. Well, man, you are a man on a mission and love what you do. So I see that even though you have accepted our invitation, that you are still doing what you love to do. And thank you once again for coming on. Well, I understand that you have a great relationship with Miss Gina A. Towns. I think she's wearing something on her shirt right now. It's it, look how she's. I'm just trying to understand. Is there a connection there between the two of you with that H and U?
Well, yes. Gina was my big sister back at Hampton a few years ago. She was the one that when I was a freshman, she was the senior who mentored me and took
Wow.
care of me and has been a great source of of knowledge for me. So I was honored to appear on the show today, mainly because of my big sister Gina.
Hey, well, thank you so much for coming on, and I know the great relationships that you guys still forge with one another. Is something about Hampton University and all the HBCUs. You guys, your relationships still go on and on and on. Even I'm not going to even put numbers on it. Gina, do you want to put a number? Even if it's 20, 30,
Hey,
40
look,
years later.
it's
Well,
fine. It ain't nothing but a number. So.
she said, "Look, ain't no shame in my game. Listen, you guys, you will have an awesome, awesome show today. We got a great lineup with Dr. Geoffrey Varner today. Now he is, like I said, he is at work, so we have pulled him away just for a short time so we can have this conversation about me and health, my health and me. So we are going to have a great, great conversation in regards to our health, especially during this pandemic. Oh my goodness, Gina, what do you got to say about this conversation that we're going to have with Doctor today?
Well, I'm very excited, and thank you, Ja, for coming on the show. It certainly is always my pleasure to see you, whether it's in person or on the screen. And certainly, since the advent of COVID, you have been, um, you know, visible, you have been
Yes.
accessible, you have provided knowledge and insight and direction, and you started out, when people didn't know what to think, what to do, in steering people in the right direction. So first, I thank you and I applaud that. So I'm very proud of my not so little brother anymore. And Doc is a great family man on top of it. Um, but I'm excited about this conversation. He and I have actually had, some back and forth, I would say, about some of the health issues that exist for today. And certainly, it's not all about COVID, but certainly it's some of the things, especially for our community and those who are economically disadvantaged, who are more susceptible to COVID, those underlying issues that, I hope that we get a chance to talk about today that affect us, differently from men to women, to our different ethnic backgrounds. So, yeah, I'm excited about today's conversation. And, I actually love seeing Jock in his scrubs. So it works. Working for the people.
Working for the people. Oh my gosh. And Jeff, what we want to do, we're going to dive into a little bit about your background too, so that the, audience kind of get to know you a little bit. They got just a teeny bit, knowing that you are a graduate of Hampton University. Big shout out to Hampton University. You guys, we have two of our finest of Hampton University on this show today. So get the rest of these Hampton alums in on this conversation, because you never know what we will run into. Oh, gosh. What I want to do right now, Gina, do you mind praying us out so we can go into our break, our first break?
Unless Joff wants to take it, I will.
Hey.
Sure, I'll be happy to.
Thank you, Geoff.
All right. Heavenly Father, we come to you humbled and thankful. Lord, we know that you have given us so much and that you have blessed us with so much. And thank you for all the mercy you have shown us. And we know, Lord, that this is a difficult time for many people. We know that people are having a hard time. Some people have even lost others. But Lord, we know that at the end of the day, it's about your glory. It's about your grace and your mercy. And we ask you to reach down, protect us, watch over us, and continue to move us forward. Because Lord, we know that you are the supreme being and have the ultimate power. And again, Lord, we ask you for your grace and for your mercy. In the Lord's name, amen.
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 And as we go into our break, you guys, I just want to let you know that each and every break we are highlighting an independent artist. So you guys check that out. If you have any problems watching these breaks on Facebook, as I said, we are broadcasting live on YouTube as well. You guys can flip on over to YouTube to watch this show in its entirety. Well, we're going to go ahead and take our break, you guys. When we come back, we will have a great conversation about our health with Dr. Geoffrey Varner. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the Bee. We'll be right back.
inside my soul, my spirit rejoices in you. What about all the people?
I waited patiently. You turned to me and heard my cry. You rescued me from sinking sand. Now there's a song in my mouth, a melody of harmony with words from the heart, as we all do our part. Can you hear my humble cry? My soul cries out with praise for you. Please come near me. Quench this thirst inside my soul, my spirit rejoices in you. You are my brother. I hold your arms up when you're weak. I listen when you speak. Never hold you back. I'll meet you where you are. Giving all we've got. We'll walk in unity. Can you hear me? Hear my humble cry. My soul cries out with praise for you. Please come near me. Quench this thirst inside my soul, my spirit rejoices in you.
Now can you hear me? Don't you fear me? If you can hear me, please come near me. Can you hear me? Don't you fear me? If you can hear me, please come near me. Can you hear me? Don't you fear me? If you can hear me, please come near me. Can you hear me? Don't you fear me? Please come near me.
I won't harm you. I'll never turn my head away. I'll lift you up each and every day. We'll take each step on that road, building heaven here on earth for all mankind. A life with dignity. Can you hear me? Hear my humble cry. My soul cries out with praise for you. Please come near me. Quench this thirst inside my soul, my spirit rejoices in you. Can you hear me? Hear my humble cry. My soul cries out with praise for you. Please come near me. Quench this thirst inside my soul, my spirit rejoices in you.
What about all the people? Can you hear me?
Hello, my name is Rodney Damon Collins. I'm an actor, producer, author, and speaker. I'm excited to share my first book entitled Shattered: A Journey Through the Pieces. I wrote this book because there are millions of people like me in this world who are searching for purpose while navigating emotional distress. This book is for anyone who wants to be the producer of their own life. The reader will be encouraged to know that if they, 1, keep God first, 2, learn how to make peace with the pieces in our lives, and finally, 3, never deterred from your dreams, that you will see your purpose fulfilled. I love you, and go grab this book on Amazon.com, Shattered: A Journey Through the Pieces.
What you want, baby, I got what you need. You know I got it. All I'm asking is for the respect when you get home. Hey, baby, when you come home, darling, I us right now. Everyone from AZ.
This is Nolan Holloway, aka Mr. Scribe. Just letting you know that I have 3 books of poetry that's available on Amazon.com. So when you get a chance, go to Amazon.com, look up Nolan P. Holloway Jr., not Mr. Scribe, and pick up one of my books for your enjoyment. Peace.
Gonna speak life in every way, Let the people see, let them see, and make sure you know you're right. Oh, when you speak. Don't believe.
Hey, this is Miguel Nunnery of Babies and Beards. Keep it locked right here as we level up, giving a voice to the unvoiced, where real talk that takes you higher. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Yo, level up, real talk that takes you higher with your boy Mike Jeezy.
It's Dr. Robert Frazier, CEO of Silk Educational Consulting, and it's time to level up.
What's up? It's your boy Fred Jones. Let's level up on Sunday. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, everyone who is watching us on Facebook, did you know you can head on over to The Real Level Up on YouTube? Yes, we are doing a simulcast today on YouTube as well as Facebook. And if you guys want to join in on the conversation, we are watching on both platforms in that comment section. All right, well, let's get right back into our conversation with Dr. Geoffrey, who is, a man that's hard at work today. Doing 2 jobs today. He is joining us live right where he is working, as well as Miss Gina A. Towns is in the comfort of her own home because we're being COVID compliant still. Yes, we are broadcasting live from each of our homes, you guys, because as you know, Level Up did its pivot and was able to do everything virtual for this moment right now. Well, let's get right back into this conversation, you guys. I mean, we kind of touched on a little bit of what we're going to talk about, and the main thing, Dr. Geoffrey, is what I really, really want to hone in on is just, like I said, me, myself, and health. Me, myself, and health. I had to say for my own sake. This pandemic literally woke me up. Of course, I was trying to make my way of, doing some changes here and there, exercise a little, change my diet a little, get a lot better at drinking water and going to bed early. But this that happened, it was a wake up call for me. It really was. And that's really been my prayer, Dr. Geoffrey, that people look at this as just a wake up call. Like, okay, you got to make some major change, some major differences in what you've been doing. If nothing else, change your sleep habit. Change how much water you're drinking. Start there. What do you say?
As it relates to changing habits, yes. COVID has been a wake-up call. I just take off from where you landed, which is sleeping. Sleeping is extremely important because what we do know is that unlike people think, there's no such thing as boosting your immune system. Meaning that if your immune system is set right here, there's nothing you can do to take it above here. But there's a lot we can do to compromise or to decrease our immune system.
Wow.
And one of the most common ways to transiently or to temporarily cause a decrease in it is a lack of sleep. And so when you have transient decreases in your immune system, it gives an opportunity for viruses and infections. It gives them a greater opportunity to come in and do their thing. So sleeping is very important. Exercising, you mentioned, is absolutely key. Exercising, it causes a more robust immune response if you do get sick, and it allows your immune system to function optimally. Again, there's nothing you can do or take that's going to take your immune system higher than what its regular function is. Nothing. But again, you can make sure it always stays functioning optimally. And exercise is absolutely key to that. But also exercise, what it does, it helps decrease stress. Now follow me on this, Bill.
Okay.
The reason why that's important is because when we are stressed, we all secrete a hormone called cortisol. It's called a stress hormone. When we have high elevation of this stress hormone, it causes a transient decrease in our immune system. So there we go again. We are compromising our immune system. So in summary, what you said is clear. Sleep and exercise, all those are ways to help optimize the function of our immune system.
What do you got to add to that, Gina?
Well, Dr. Mount Varner just sounded so matter of fact on all that he said. And, I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to segue. Dr. Mount Varner, can you just even tell us about your background and your education medically? Because you certainly just laid that all out. I'm going to come and see you, that's for sure.
Well, as you all know, I'm a proud Hampton graduate where I majored in math. I was trained and went to school at Harvard, Wayne State, George Washington, Hopkins, although I did my residency at Howard, and I eventually was the chief and chair of their emergency department. The other HU, I've got to admit, I've learned to pull back off of Howard because HBCU, we're all in this world together. Angee, I did hear you kind of wrap us all in there, and I had to say, let it just let it be. But Hampton is special. But what I've learned is that most HBCU people think that their HBCU is special, and they are. But back to me. So I practice part-time emergency medicine. Although I am board certified, but in my full-time company, I go around the world and I teach executives, teams how to make decisions, how to make split-second decisions, which is based upon my bestseller book called Training Your Mind for Split-Second Decisions. And so that's what I do. And then COVID brought me back into the ER more, especially now, because there are a number of people who are leaving medicine. And so a number of organizations have asked doctors who have decreased their time to come back and give more time. And so that is my background. And I am originally from Maryland. And the most important part, I wouldn't say the most important part, a piece of that is I am a Gamma Iota Hampton University Alpha. Pledged at Hampton. Had to throw that in there.
Oh, six.
See.
And let me add one more thing in there. So Gina, my big sister, is a Delta. My mom's a Delta. My older sister who went to Hampton is a Delta. My younger sister who went to Hampton is a Delta. My oldest niece who went to Hampton is a Delta. And my other niece just pledged Delta at Hampton as well.
Woo! Gamma Iota. We'll be celebrating our anniversary. Gamma Iota. Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Josh. That was all so much fun. So great. But back to, what you were saying in the training that you had, because you and I did have the whole, immune system. Josh saw my treasure chest of vitamins and minerals. And, I certainly pride myself on being in better health than I was before COVID started, because I paid attention to it. And because I know that I don't eat a lot. And that means that I probably don't get all the vitamins and nutrients that I need to have from my food. So I am a big supplement person, but I'm, more of a naturopathic supplement person since COVID started. And I already knew from working at Morehouse School of Medicine that for the African American community, we are vitamin D deficient because many of us are lactose intolerant and we don't spend a lot of time in the sun. So our source of vitamin D becomes a lot more nil. So, that was the beginning of COVID for Black people, the vitamin D deficiency. And so, I immediately jumped on that. But as I listened to Geoff early on, in some of the YouTube and Facebook forums that he was doing. You know, I picked up on some other things along with Dr. Brookshire, and so he kind of just chuckled when he saw all that I take every day. But I feel good, and I think because of some of those things that I take, it then bleeds into me being able to sleep, and that really gets down, and I have the energy that I need to work out. So maybe that's how they're all playing out, Josh. Could it be?
Yes, but hold on. I want to be clear because I think I sent a mixed message. While I say there's no way to take your immune system above its natural set point, if we are deficient in certain areas, then supplements are certainly a way to help it bring it back up to its normal point. So I am a supplement fan. I believe in like supplements as long as they're necessary. You know, now there are some supplements that if you take too much of it, it can cause problems for you. So I am a supplement. I believe in like supplements. And as Gina said, especially during this period of time, vitamin D is probably one of the most important supplements that you can take.
Wow.
Well, first go, Angee. So I don't want to miss that point there. What kind of problems can it cause if you're taking too much, and especially if you're not drinking enough water to make sure that your kidneys are flushing properly? Is that where you were headed with that? Like, what? Tell me.
Well, are you, Gina, are you referring to the supplements class in general, or are you just talking about vitamin D?
No, just in general. Like if you were taking too much of any one thing, and you said that it could cause you different kinds of problems. Okay, we got you. And meanwhile, Dr. Joff has to do what Dr. Joff has. And I think, while we could talk, Angee, you and I, because we're on a lot of the same supplements. And I know that you and I, and Joff has heard this conversation, that we believe that the supplements that we began to take and continue to take have helped us in warding off sickness of any kind, but in particular COVID, and making sure that our immune system could fight it off. Not that you won't be touched by it, but certainly if your immune system can fight it off and you get to sleep, and I told him that the supplements, I showed him the supplements that we take, the vitamin D, zinc.
The reishi mushroom.
I also take, what is it? The pre and probiotic. And what else do I take? I take so much stuff. That's probably why he's laughing at me. The activated charcoal, and B, and what else do I take? Reishi mushroom.
Reishi mushroom. A.
The
A, which is the beta carotene. Are you still doing the garlic as well?
Oh yeah, that's right. Beta carotene, absolutely. Beta carotene and garlic. I've learned not to put that garlic in my shake though. That garlic has to be taken by itself because I don't like the change in my chocolate. Because I take like a chocolate protein, and then the chocolate and the garlic don't work together. But nevertheless, I think sometimes our health also has to do with our mental state, and I feel good about the things that I take daily. And of course, vitamin C is a big one.
Yes.
As well, but I don't take all of it every day. But I think that I take it regularly enough, somewhere around 4 times a week. Maybe 5 times a week, where I feel like working out, and I think I get good sleep because I know that vitamin D helps you to sleep. So actually, magnesium is what it is. So there's nothing wrong with educating ourselves, on these things. But I just wanted to share with the audience, a little bit. About that because, and then Joff won't need to really hear this part of the conversation because he saw all of it when I opened the cabinet, and he's like, "Oh wow." So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you because the audience is not. They do know, Gina. First of all, they do know that I got over COVID at least 3 times. That we are suspect about the 4th time. Because I do believe, audience, that I had it back in December of 18. I spoke with a very good friend of mine even yesterday, and we compared notes, Gina. We compared notes of what happened to her in October of 18, and it was very similar. Audience, it was very similar to what everybody is going through right now, where I had what I thought was the flu, and I could not get rid of it. I'm telling you.
You mean 19, Angee?
I'm talking about 18, December of 18.
18. Okay.
It was 18. And
Wow.
actually, my sisters reminded me of that Christmas vacation that we went on, and I just couldn't get rid of all the symptoms of what was the flu. I was tossing back, like drinking, Theraflu, all that stuff that normally knocks it out. I couldn't knock it out, Gene. I couldn't knock it out. Yeah. Well, he's back.
Wow. Yeah, well, definitely this thing was going on longer than what everybody thought. But, the doctor is back, and I see he got his white coat on now. I'm really scared. It's covered. The doctor.
We can't hear you, Doc.
I had to go see somebody real quick. That's all.
Oh, no, we know you're on the job.
I feel like Shabba Ranks ought to start singing right now. Big doctor. Oh, his name is Geoffrey.
Keep going, Gina.
Well, going back to what she was talking about, Dr. Varner, we were talking about, back to supplements, because both her and I didn't give an opportunity to tell you that whatever you saw in her cabinet, I probably have all of that and maybe two more. So, I mean, I am a supplement person. It's one of the things that I actually, changed in what I was doing with my regimen. I upped my vitamin D. I was always taking reishi mushroom, but I doubled the dose on that. And then I added in there vitamin A, and what I understand, you can interchange vitamin A and beta carotene. And I've also added garlic to my regimen. And I do have to say, just based on what I've dealt with in the past, since I've upped the regimen with all of my supplements, I have yet to suffer from hay fever. Because people will tell me that I'm allergic to whatever, and it's hay fever. When I went through the ragweed season, which was for me is in the fall, I got through it. The only thing that I changed was my supplement intake. I mean, I know you were going into about supplements. You believe in it. You think that we should take it, but my question to you is, do you think that's the only thing that will prevent us from these viruses? And I'm putting the S on it because there's more viruses out here than just COVID. COVID just has the media. It's what's your take on that?
So the question is what we can do to prevent ourselves from contracting viruses? Is that the question?
Mm-hmm.
Well, good hygiene, first of all, it is key. But since we're in this space of COVID, what will prevent us from or greatly decrease us spreading viruses? Mask. That's absolutely key, because we are not talking about is that this time last year we had the fewest number of flu cases than we've ever had. And that was because people were masked up.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. So not only did it protect us against COVID, it protected us against the flu. So I think the first line is personal accountability and doing what we can do. And that is, if you're sick, stay home.
Yes.
And this is even outside of COVID. And then if you go out, even during COVID, it's very important for you to wear a mask. And while we've learned that COVID is not transmitted from contact, it's not transmitted highly, the flu still is. And so washing your hands as often as possible is absolutely essential. And so, and I think we've got to take greater ownership of our health as well. Meaning that if you are someplace and you're in a room and someone's doing a lot of sneezing and coughing, back in the day, we used to just say, we just politely just sit there. Those days are gone.
Oh, yeah.
Either that person's got to leave or you got to leave. But the days of just sitting there next to them, oh, no. And so I say that, as Gina talked about, we thought we were going to be in this COVID space just for a moment. It's lasting a little longer, and we can get into later why I think that the end is finally in sight. But we've been in this for 2 years. We thought it was going to be a couple months, so people are just tired.
Gosh, yeah. Well, and you said it when you're saying 2 years, and I heard it on one of the major news broadcasts. We're in it for 2 years, and people are growing tired. But what we cannot do, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot grow tired of what he is talking about. What we're talking about in general is stay healthy, do the things that you need to do in order to keep your health on take it to the next level. Let's say it that way. Well, listen, you guys, we've got to take our break. And when we come back from our break, what I really want you guys to do is be sure you guys are sharing this information. As you guys know, we are bringing shows to you week after week, show after show that will not only entertain, but also give you information that you know you need to share it with your family and friends on Facebook as well as YouTube. And yes, we are broadcasting live on YouTube as well as Facebook. We are taking all your questions and comments in that comment section, and we are looking on both sides. Mary Gooseby, I see your comment. We're going to take your comment when we come back from this break. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. We'll be right back.
Make sure you keep that same energy. Make sure you keep that same energy. Make sure you keep that same energy. Make sure you keep that same energy.
My G, coming through the crowd raw, big dog. You don't really wanna feel these claws. See, God loves me anyway, despite these flaws. So I gotta get a little buck while yeehaw. My God, give me all the blessings, so I never tap out. No time for stressing. I'm confessing that I'm still learning lessons. When I get knocked down, get up stepping, cause I know how my blessings flow. Started from the crown down to the tiptoe. Holy Spirit, you don't wanna miss this flow, cause I'm talking about you and the whole trio. The Father's on top and they call me mijo. For my Latino, just Jesucristo. My God's bilingual, so if you didn't know, I'ma speak English, me amigo.
Make sure you keep that same energy. 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 Make sure you keep that same energy.
Somebody tell me whose man's is this? Flip flop, they crisscross, wanna jump and they plotting the whole twist. Well, hey, Mr. Big Stuff, now tell me who you think you are. Call Gina, cause you know you're dismissed. I got a lot of enemies, they draining my energy, but tell them my energy is inside of my energy. If I'm at a dead end, I'm counting on real friends, the type that will help you and open the Red Sea. Never make a promise that you can't keep. Nobody really likes a bluff, that's a wedge so deep. If you're gonna repent, then I suggest an upkeeping. If that energy drain, then throw away the whole thing. Sometimes you gotta cut the cord to keep moving forward, to be a valuable piece within this game and board. What's done in the dark is brought to the light, it's heads or tails. So tell me how you call it, alright? Listen, hot or cold, ain't no man in the middle, cause if it gets spit out, ain't no stopping this riddle. You're headed on a dead end, on a one way. I know you see the sign, read it what the Lord say. On a periodic table, I'm an element, and me and Kai got a chemistry. So next time you ever think about attacking me, well,
make sure you keep that same energy. Make sure you keep that same energy. Make sure you keep that same energy. Make sure you keep that same energy.
I'm living for God for real. I go fishing for real. I'm like a Navy SEAL, toting that Pelican bill. I'm just a kid full of Skittles, no riddle, it's simple. I level with all of my energy, I get empty. In the forefront, I'm up on my tip. I think I saw Jesus in my dreams. Oh, you don't believe, oh, that's sweet, honey, please. I get hyped through the night, oh, my energy gon' spike. Oh, I think I see the light.
Make sure you keep that same energy. 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 Energy, energy, energy. Make sure you keep that same energy. Energy, energy, energy. Ha!
I had the pistol in my hand, cocked, and it came on 107.5. You don't want to walk with me? Yeah, I'll walk on by myself. You saved my life. I'm just telling you. You saved my life.
Was it moving slowly though? Was it like behind?
I've been rejected way too many times in my life.
After what's going on with this video.
I won't take no for an answer anymore. Seems all these walls been erected to stop my dreams. Yeah. But I won't let that be a factor anymore. If you won't stand with me, if you won't go with me, I'm gonna go on by myself. If you won't fight with me, if you won't believe with me, I'm gonna walk on by myself. I've got this burning fire deep in my soul, and I can't escape this lonely, lonely flame.
You know.
My journey may go down an old rugged road, but I keep on pressing, and I'm not afraid anymore. If you won't stand with me, if you won't go with me, I'm gonna go on by myself, yeah. If you won't fight with me, if you won't believe with me, I'm gonna walk on by myself. I can see clearly now. My future's my responsibility. I realize that if nobody helps carry my cross, I still gotta go on. If you won't stand with me, if you won't go with me, I'm gonna go on by myself. If you don't believe with me, I'm gonna walk on by myself. If you won't stand with me, if you won't go with me, I can't breathe, but I'm still gonna go on by myself. Sometimes I wanna say, I'm gonna walk on by myself.
No doubt about it. I watched this video already. I can't hear the music, but I like what he's doing.
I just had to turn it down. Hey,
yeah.
So what's the flow of this program?
You're on it.
I know. What's the flow? Do you have
Nothing excites me more than to see
You're the guest.
children
No, I mean, yeah.
read the books
No, she does
that
not.
I illustrated and help bring to life. You know, it's the process from start to finish, and you know, at the finish line, you see the children smiling and excited and sharing the stories with other children about, you know, an image or a book that they read. Another thing that gives me joy is working with new and upcoming writers, people who have all these stories that they want to tell and, you know, things that they want to share with the world, you know, just like, you know, me wanting to express myself as an artist and, you know, share my expressions, you know, people are doing the same thing with their stories, and to help, I feel like I'm helping making their dream come true. You know?
What's wrong with my body?
My name is Kelly Bryant, and I am the face of a type 2 diabetic. I am also the author of a book series called Numbers that is available on Amazon. The series is about how I use the low-carb diet lifestyle to get my numbers in non-diabetic range. I am living proof that it is possible to go from a 16.6 A1C to a 5.2. So let's kick type 2 diabetes, one number at a time.
It's your girl, Dr. Monique Frazier, owner of Prestige Decor and More. Let's level up on Sundays. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Hey, this is Dr. Crystal of Kaleidoscope Counseling Center. Level up with me and Angee from the B. Every Sunday.
Hey guys, vibe with Mr. Scribe on Level Up.
Hey, this is your favorite mental health therapist, Sylvia Franklin. I want you to level up with the internet radio show that's broadcasting to the world. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome, welcome, welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, everyone, if you want to watch this show in its entirety, you guys can also head on over to The Real Level Up on YouTube. There we are watching your questions and comments if you want to join in on this conversation. Well, before we went to break, we had a comment from one of our viewers, and that was from Mary Goolsby. And what she said, you guys, was, yes, just learn, get out and get at least 10 minutes of sun for helping with that vitamin D. Absolutely, Miss Mary, we are being very, very vigilant about our vitamin D intake. And I think it does. I mean, we got the doctor in the house. I think it has a lot to do with, you know, curbing that that virus for us. I mean, what do you say, Dr. Geoffrey?
Well, I'm sorry. What was your question? You said it has a lot to do with what?
Well, we had someone that said that they were paying more attention about their vitamin D intake.
Yeah. So let me tell you why that's so important, and also why she said 10 minutes a day. She is absolutely right. Here's why. Okay. 90% of our vitamin D comes from the sun, from being exposed to the sun. 90% of it. So if you can go out in the sunlight and be exposed for 10 minutes, but that means fleas off, it means direct sunlight. And the reason why vitamin D is so important is it plays now. And by the way, to your audience, this will be the most technical part. If they just give me 2 minutes, we're going to break this vitamin D down real quick. So view the vitamin D, view that as the regulator for our immune system, meaning it causes our immune system to speed up and slow down, speed up, slow down. Well, what does COVID do? It causes an overreaction of our immune system, meaning it goes in there and speeds up. Hence, so if vitamin D is there, the vitamin D is the referee. If you are low in vitamin D, then that thing can just speed up and go. And so, hence, making sure you have appropriate vitamin D levels is very, very important. Now, in no way am I saying that vitamin D is a cure, but there has been academic, verifiable, proven information that vitamin D levels, it makes you 2 times less likely to contract COVID. I'm not sure if that's true about Omicron. And once you contract COVID, it makes you 10 to 11 times less likely to have a negative outcome. Hence, vitamin D is extremely important. If you want to increase it the fastest, expose your skin to the sunlight. But in the meantime, take supplements. And while I'm not giving any medical advice, this is just for information purposes only. Talk to your doctor about how much supplements. I know I take 10,000 units a day. My family takes 10,000 units a day. My son takes 5,000 units. But again, those are not recommendations to you. That's just what I do in my family. And one more point to a point that Gina said earlier.
Okay.
You always have to be careful about taking too many supplements. Vitamin D is one of those that it's very hard to get vitamin D toxic, meaning that you take too much of it. But some signs and symptoms of it are nausea, vomiting, and guess what the treatment is for being vitamin D toxic? You simply stop taking it. You stop taking your vitamin D levels slowly go down. So I would, during this period of time, there's 2 vitamins that my family takes. Let me frame it that way. We take vitamin D, and we're probably going to take that for life, and we take zinc. We're probably only going to take zinc for about the next 5 to 7 weeks, just because we're in a period where we know we're all going to be exposed to Omicron. And so zinc has been shown to be very helpful as it relates to decreasing viral replication. I know I said a lot, but I wanted to get that in just real quick.
No, and that's helpful because, I'm doing the same thing. I actually got a text in that my family is watching right now. I did the same thing, Dr. Geoffrey. I mean, not just my immediate family, but I have a tight-knit family, so I wanted to make sure that all of us were good because we meet on a regular basis. And, what they are now taking on top of being vaccinated, they are still doing the vitamin D, the reishi mushroom, and I want to ask you about the pre and probiotic. I know Gina had mentioned about the pre and probiotics that we added to our regimen. What's your take on those supplements?
You think it helps? I mean, take it. I don't say it'd be flippant, but there's been no study that has shown that it's helpful. But I do believe, again, medicine, it's called the practice of medicine.
Okay.
We don't know everything. And so maybe there has not been a study that shows that it's helpful because no one studied it. And given that I'm a scientist, I don't give recommendations about hearsay, she say, so say. But if it helps, it does not do harm, and it's working for you, consider it. I mean, then you talk to your primary care doctor.
I love it. What say you, Gina?
Jump in on the reishi mushroom for a second, Angee?
Yes.
Reishi mushroom, Angee and I became familiar with the reishi mushroom because we were selling it. I mean, that's the bottom line at one point. And it was delivered through a beverage. But what we saw during that time was people who were coming off of blood pressure medication and diabetic medication, and their doctors did not understand how they were doing it. And as long as they continued in that vein, their blood pressure stayed down. If they got off of it, the blood pressure escalated again. And so that was the, whole thing, especially for me, in revisiting and adding reishi mushrooms back to my regimen was, for those kinds of inflammatory things, in the body. But at any rate, I just want to throw that reishi mushroom piece in there.
I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, look, we can hold it down. Holding it down.
Right, so we can talk about reishi mushrooms more.
Well, I mean, I want to tell them. Do you mind if I tell them how it was really introduced to us, Gina, the first time?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Well, This is what got my attention, ladies and gentlemen, about reishi mushroom. You were going through an illness at the time, and Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire had recommend reishi mushroom.
I had pneumonia.
You had pneumonia, and I just remember that time, ladies and gentlemen, that you were going to the doctor. You were very good about going to the doctor and taking care of yourself, Gina. I got to give it to you. But this time, she gave us the reishi mushroom, and I saw you get over that pneumonia. When I saw you got over pneumonia that time, and it was through the one thing that you changed in your regimen at that time, because you were doing everything right. It's just that it was slow to heal, but then the healing escalated when you started taking that reishi mushroom. I think you got over it in about 3, maybe 4 days at the time.
When I took it, and it was a large dose of reishi mushroom.
Okay.
So if it was pills, then you were taking, probably 12 of them, and also putting hydrogen peroxide in your ear. And that's the thing about, the viruses, that viruses really can enter the body through every open orifice on your head. And, so the mask is important to be able to cover your nose and your mouth, but when you're able to also cover your ears and your eyes, particularly when you are in flight, and you have circulating air, it's important to close off every orifice. And certainly it's, harder perhaps to get in, because I don't claim to be any kind of anything. I just have practiced on my own self enough to see the things that, have worked and have not worked. But the hydrogen peroxide in both ears also, I think, contributes to cleansing whatever was in there, because you can actually hear it boil when it first goes in until whatever is ailing you is drawn out. So yeah, I mean, those are just some of our little home remedies that we have subscribed to, both Angee and I, over the past 2 years. And there may not be a whole lot of evidence except for the evidence that we have experienced in trial and error.
Mm-hmm. And what I love about Dr. Geoffrey, ladies and gentlemen, I've been following him for at least a year. It may be more than that. And how I ran up on him is that at that time, I wasn't working, and you're flipping and going through each and everything to find out what is going on about this virus. And he came on, just as you guys are seeing, just as a matter of fact, but, full of wisdom is what there's a difference between wisdom and information. And how I differentiate that is that, he's taking the information and actually using it, and actually, as he is saying, practicing it. And he's one of the few doctors I've heard, Gina, that will admit that, hey, we are practicing. We're not going to sit up here and tell you that we know everything, but that's why it's so vitally important. And I think he's going to drill this point to us. It is vitally important that we have a great relationship with our doctors. Gina, you have one. I love the relationship that you have with your doctors, because they can actually, find out what's working and what's not. And when you go to your doctors once a year, like most of us, raising my hand, when you go to your doctors once a year and then you don't check in with follow-up work, then that takes away what they can learn about, especially this virus. And what I love about Dr. Geoffrey, I saw, how he was being very real and open with his journey and learning about this, so that he can take care of the patients that he is taking care of in his sphere, with the best information possible. And so that's Gina, that's the difference between wisdom and information to me. What do you think?
Wow, that's I mean, say that again. The difference between wisdom and information. And the other thing that I heard him saying is that sometimes for us as individuals, it is a little bit of practice. It is reading up, it is seeking advice, and as you mentioned, I have tried not to, be a hypochondriac about my health, but because of some of the things that I have experienced, I do take my health very seriously. I don't take it for granted. And I know that as an African American woman, there are more things on my plate. I'll share that I am also sickle cell trait positive. So I don't have sickle cell, but I have the trait. And so that's, many times that is overlooked in our community. It's something that affects Black people predominantly, but the sickle cell trait and the things that can come about because of that are very rarely talked about. And so that's why I try to err on the side of, what's best for my health, because I haven't always been in the best health for the simple fact that I just don't like to eat a lot. Because eating a lot don't like me.
Well, I'm back.
But we got Dr. Johnson back, so.
I'm back. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm an eater. And look, don't let a cow walk in my front yard because I'm a spirit.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. I don't want y'all to think I'm one of those kind, but I'm a meat eater, no doubt. Hey, but dude, I do want to pivot back, and I'm sorry that I had to jump off and that I had to jump out for a second. I do want to pivot back because we were talking about health. I heard that part, but I want to pivot to our health now and our health moving forward. Meaning, so we're in this COVID space, and you all heard me talk about that we're going to be coming out of COVID. I would highly encourage this. I'm going to talk about males first.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about women first. People should call their primary care doctor now and set up their appointments. There are 5 tests that's so important that they get, and there's a backlog. Because many people are not doing the regular screening test just because they are short. But if you're over the age of 50, commit to the next week. You want to set up your mammogram. You want to set up for your pap smear. You want to set up for your colonoscopy. You want to make sure that you get your blood pressure checked at least once in the next week. And then you want to get your lab work done. And that includes your cholesterol levels and your hemoglobin A1C, which tests for diabetes. You say, well, how did I pivot to that? Because here's why. As we come out of COVID, many people are going to start to get out more. And so there's going to be a backlog of these tests. One of my friends who is a pathologist, she's triple board certified, she says what they are already seeing are an increased number of cancer cases. And that's because people are not being screened. And so therefore these cancers are not being picked up earlier. And so we're going to have an increased number in many of these types of cases. So let me summarize, if you don't mind. If you are a woman, please make sure, commit to Angee and Gina that before you watch them again next week, you would at least have set up your colonoscopy, set up for your mammogram, set up for your pap smear, set up for, you would have gotten your blood pressure checked once at least, and you would have made sure that you set up to get your blood work done, which includes the regular CBC and electrolytes, but also your hemoglobin A1C and your cholesterol. And while I'm on that, just real quick, the reason why the pap smear is so important, that's one of those tests. If you get that done regularly, if you can pick up 98% of cancers early to the point where they can be cured or fixed. And so that's why these screening tests are extremely, extremely important. And now I'm going to turn it around on the medical establishment. And that is, as and I'm not a primary care doctor, but we need more primary care doctors who look like us. What a lot of the world does not realize is that back in 1978, about 4.5% of doctors were Black. In 2022, about 4.5% of doctors are Black. And so not much has changed. And so in no way am I saying that my fellow white brothers and sisters who are doctors and Indian and African brothers and sisters, I'm not saying they're not doing their jobs well. In no way. In fact, they're very good people. But you can't deny science, and we talked about science. There have been several papers that have shown, academic peer-reviewed papers, which are our gold standard, that have shown that Black folks often get less care than people who look like them. There's one article that basically showed that they looked at Yale medical students. And I think, and the number's not quite right because I read it a while ago, but it's close. 60% of them believe that Black folks had thicker skin and that they could tolerate pain more. They believe that. Nothing malicious in their heart. They believe that. What is my point? You've got to be proactive about your care. Find a provider, although it's going to be unlikely and it's going to be difficult to find a Black one, but find someone who's got the spirit of God, who cares about you as a human. And yeah, a lot of my white peers and my Indian peers, they can do that. But if you don't like your primary care doctor, this is real simple. Get another one. As an ER doctor, I'm kind of cut to the chase. Patients want to start complaining about their primary care doctor. I don't have time for that. I tell them simple. Get another one. Make a different decision. It is that simple. I said a lot. I'm gonna need to jump off about 5 minutes. This is gonna be a long time. But I'll be back.
No, yeah, we gotta take a break anyway. We gotta take a 10-minute break. Is that better for you?
That works.
Okay. Well, listen, you guys, we're gonna take our break. When we come back, we're gonna have more questions with Doctor. Listen, we've got at least 2 more segments with the doctor, so you guys want to get those questions in. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. We'll be right back.
I open arms, you call me back. Yes, yes, I love you. I say yes. So I say yes, yes, I love you. And I say yes. So I say yes, yes, I love you. And I say yes. So I say yes, yes, I love you. And I say yes. You wanna see if I'm yours completely? No, there's no place I'd rather be. Some time ago, I made this vow, and again I say yes, here and now. Yes, yes, I love you. I say yes. So I say yes, yes, I love you. And I say yes. You say yes for me. I say yes to you. Even when I wanna go. You say yes for me. I say yes to you. Everywhere. You're always right there with me. Yes, yes, I love you. I say yes. Yeah. So I say yes, yes, I love you. And I say yes. Oh, I say yes, yeah. I say yes, yes, I say yes. And I say yes, yeah. Yes, yes, I love you. And I say yes, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, I love you. I say yes. Yes, yes, I love you. And I say yes. Over and over again and again I say yes. I say yes.
You know, babies and beards is a cause. You don't see too many images of black fatherhood portrayed in the media, but I know for a fact on the ground level, it's a lot of brothers who beat all odds and get the job done daily. The job is passing knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the next generation, despite the role you may play in the lives of the youth. I hear a lot of brothers say, well, what if I don't have a beard? It works from skin too, and the strength of a beard is manhood. What if I don't have a baby? Part of our purpose on earth is to keep the kids safe, no matter the relationship. At least that's what I thought. Our product helps spread the message around the world as a symbol of growing together.
Have you been sluggish, bloated, overweight? You could be toxic from your environment, food, and medications. It's time for a clean start. Come by or book online today.
God hates divorce, but unfortunately, some of us have gone through this traumatic experience. I'm Dr. Renee Andrews, and I'm here to offer you some solutions if you have gone through a divorce, a painful breakup, or having any relationship issues. Please get a copy of my book today, God Has a Plan for You, Life After Divorce, at godhasaplanforyou.org. Thank you.
Hi, this is Terry Cummings, formerly of the NBA, retired after 18 years, 18 seasons in the league. Just been chilling, working hard, though I think you work harder when you retire, but nevertheless running companies, pastoring 14 years, CEO over a hybrid of a television station of cable and streaming, and finally pushing toward the bid for the Hall of Fame. Level up and join us.
You are listening to Level Up with Bob Barrett-Wall from Enter the Diamond.
Hey, this is Rodney Damon Collins, inviting you to level up.
Hey, this is Shay Bynes with Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur. Let's level up. Tune in every Sunday.
Hi, this is Pat Nash, your dream coach. Want to take your dreams to the next level? Then listen to Level Up each and every Sunday. I am.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, everyone who is watching us on Facebook, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up. That's The Real Level Up on YouTube. And actually, by the way, Gina, while we're waiting on the doctor to return, we actually got a comment from Keisha Wright, and she says, love peroxide in my ears. I also take baking soda and water. Girl, you got a serious... What do you think about that one, G? She does baking soda and water and the peroxide. Now, I will tell you this. I've done the baking soda and water when I was, before COVID, when I was extremely sick. And I could not get rid of, oh my gosh, I was just hacking and coughing. I did the baking soda and water, warm water, and well, as hot as I can get it. And I did that, and it really worked. Baking soda and water. I don't know.
That's all the old school stuff that our parents and grandparents, aunties and uncles used to give us and do, and I'm all in favor. All in favor, say aye. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for that, Keisha. Thank you, girl, for just being a great supporter of the show. You've been a great supporter of the show since the inception. So just want to give you a shout out to let you know that we see you, girl, and greatly appreciate you. Well, listen, guys, all the questions and comments that you guys want to put in, please put it in the chat section of YouTube as well as Facebook. And I just want to make sure that I'm not missing any other comments. Oh, we had another comment that came in from Mary Goolsby, which said, yes, many of us had it earlier prior to knowing what it was.
Facts. Hashtag facts, Mary. Hashtag.
I mean,
I was so doggone sick. People try to still tell me I didn't have it, but I know that's what it was. This is when was that in? February, March, and April of 19.
Of 19. You had it in 19. Gina, I know, look, how sick you were that time. And what do they call it for you? They were calling it bronchitis and what else?
They said the emergency room. After 8 weeks, I finally went to the emergency room. And they said I had bronchitis and pleurisy. Now, that's altogether plausible for the pleurisy. But I will tell you that I had never been that sick, and the cycles that it went through, what pushed me to the emergency room was the chest pain. And I had not been able to breathe for, 8 weeks, 6 weeks. My breathing capacity was at like 76 at my primary care physician. I mean, I got the nebulizer. Like, I don't have asthma. But, because people didn't know at that time. And the person that I had, my vendor at work that I had been working, he actually had the serology test and said that it said that he had COVID, and we were together the whole week. So, I think a lot of people had it that didn't know they had it. And that's why I think, your mentality sometimes has so much to do with it, because if you know you got COVID, you might be thinking another way. Whereas where you think, oh, I got the flu or something, I just need to hurry up and get over this. Your mind has a lot to do with your healing as well. So, I certainly can appreciate that. And of course, you and I, Angee, have had, I don't want to say near scares. I want to, say exactly what it is, that we were exposed to COVID, and, because of the regimen, that we take, portions of it being doubled, and sleeping, that's a big thing, because a lot of people can't sleep, through the night. We have so much going on in our minds. We wake up in the middle of the night, and we go through periods of that when we're in stress. But sometimes it's just that people don't go to bed early enough. Okay. Sometimes you just got to get on in the bed and fall asleep, because if you wait too long, perhaps it's more difficult to go to sleep. If you try to sleep with the TV on, I know a lot of people have, I'm going to call it a bad habit, because it's a bad habit.
Yeah.
To sleep with the TV on, maybe some music or some waterfalls or something like that. But, it keeps your brain waves active. So anyway, that's
you are very, like I said earlier in the show, in case anybody just joined, you were very, adamant about your health, and I learned a lot from you. In case you guys didn't know, this is my business party. That's why we were talking. We share a lot, not just what we do in business, but when you want to make sure that each other are doing better health wise, because we're not getting any younger. And so that's the other thing that I really started taking serious, because I am getting older. I needed to change one major thing, and I'm still at work, Doc. I see you back on. I'm still trying to get better at that sleep habit. So your big sister over here, she's been like, look, you got to get better with that sleeping and drinking. Like I said, drinking water. One thing that I did change, and it's now become a habit. There's some things that you can start doing over and over again, and it becomes, just a habit. Water is the first thing that passed my lips in the morning. And that in of itself was I could feel something different with my body. Just doing that, Dr. Geoffrey, just making sure that it's not water or any sugary drinks that's going past, because I'm good for that. Coffee was the thing, but before I would drink. Let me see if I got it. Oh, I have it here. I would drink at least half of that. I don't know. You guys can't really see it. There you go. At least half of that before I drink water. Before I have my coffee. And then, the coffee that I am drinking is mixed in with that reishi mushroom. So, that's my that's my go-to coffee beverage. Yeah,
that's your excuse.
That's my excuse. Okay. That's my excuse. I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Everything in moderation, right, Dr. John?
I noticed that.
My excuse. I'm sticking with it. So
maybe you should try some magnesium. Remember I mentioned magnesium earlier, for sleep. I've had physicians, particularly I have a naturopath orthodontist who, started when I was having a hard time sleeping to, get the magnesium and take it before you go to bed. So that's a huge problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. And
Dr. Joe, what are you doing?
For sleep?
Right now.
What am I doing, you say?
I said, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm well. I'm good. Hey, I'm coming out of COVID, coming out of the winter. I'm excited about how the future looks. Because if you think about it, this has been a difficult 2 years for folks. And so once you realize that the crisis or the like negative energy, if you allow it, is coming to an end, it creates optimism. It creates, hey, we're about to get over this. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm still amazed and still shocked that people who are unvaccinated and they contract COVID and they come to the hospital saying, I don't feel well. I'm very sorry that you don't feel well. I'm not smart. These are not sick people. These are people who They walk on in, drinking their soda, and they got COVID and they feel bad and they want to come in. And the ER is open 24 hours a day, but it makes me want to say, that's what we've been telling you why you should get vaccinated, And so my point is, everyone, it's not too late to get vaccinated for those who can. I recognize that the vaccine, that not everyone can, but for those who can, we need to be so crystal clear that it's not about you only, it's about your neighbors too. And so this is the period of time that if you can get vaccinated, please do.
So, Dr. Job.
Yes, Gina.
That's why I'm being quiet. I'm going on mute right now.
So, certainly all things for all people. And I will share, that I have gotten a portion of the vaccination for our listening audience. I don't know if you heard over the past couple of days about the embalmer, the funeral director, who has brought up some issues about what he felt like he saw and has found. What can you offer to people about a problem with clotting and a synthetic source that is in vaccinated people who have died? I mean, we just have to deal with it, because if we don't deal with it here with an authority like yourself, and here's the other thing about you that I like. You sound like you know what you're talking about. You sound educated. And for my little brother, I am so very proud of you, because I come from Morehouse School of Medicine, having worked there for almost a decade, and I know the shortage that there is of Black doctors, and so in particular male Black doctors. And so that's a big deal for our listening audience as well. If you have some school age on their way to college, students, and even from the time as little kids, because there used to be a time when people planned on being doctors from a little kid. Like, that's what they dressed up as. Halloween, they dressed up as a doctor. You didn't just dress up, you did it. And you have a daughter who is a freshman at Hampton, who is a biology pre-med major as well, so kudos for that. But that having been said, you do sound like you have a grasp on and an authoritative stance on it. So could you, kind of speak to some of the things that are, out here? Because for us as Black people, and I appreciate that we can have this conversation and people can let us have it, because there are issues that are germane to us that, we have to talk about, even like that preventative healthcare that you talked about a little while ago. So now we're talking about, how do we feel when we hear stories like that come out about the vaccinated?
Thank you for that. And let me wrap this up in a broader picture. And first, let me say this. Well, I don't personally know that pathologist. We have to be very careful. So one monkey doesn't make a show. And not that I'm calling him a monkey. I'm just simply saying his stance it is an outlier. There are more clots going on. But here's the like thinking. And follow me on this one. If you contract COVID, and as you all hinted at, many people have contracted COVID and don't even know that they've had it. You are at increased risk of clots. For instance, you are 2 times more likely to have a heart attack, because heart attacks are caused by clots. You're 3 times more likely to have a stroke. You're 8 times more likely to have a clot in your leg, which goes to your lungs. What's my point? COVID in and of itself causes increased clotting. And so for the pathologist to say that it's only in vaccinated people, that's not how the world of pathology is experiencing it. In fact, I would say it's just the opposite. I talk to about 5 to 6 million people a week on the different platforms as it relates to COVID. And one of my partners is a triple board certified pathologist. And we've talked about this whole clotting factor. And what we do know is that COVID, it causes more clotting in folks overall. We have not had, and I have not read, that we are experiencing that more in vaccinated people. What I have read is that if you are vaccinated, you are 2 times less likely to have a heart attack, 3 times less likely to have a stroke, and all those other numbers. So that is not making sense. Let me add on there. Let me go up to the 50,000 foot level. There's this report called VAERS, and it's where people can report anything negative that they experience as it relates to being vaccinated. And a lot of people, a lot of sites will quote this report. Hold on for 1 second.
Sure. And for the listeners who are or who have not seen, you can Google. There is and what we're talking about now is that there is someone a funeral director, who, when embalming bodies, has noticed increased clotting in people who have been vaccinated upon their death. And so he says that he can tell who's been vaccinated and who has not. And so that's part of the conversation, because that probably is going to heat up over the next few days as people continue to hear about the story and find out that information. And I'm one of those people who would just really rather deal with things, head on, good, bad, ugly.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had a couple of comments while you guys were. Let me get those in as well. Mary Gucci, go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt because I do have to run, but I will be back. So the VAERS report. If you look at it, you'll see it's 50,000 deaths. All these people have had these complications. Let's be very clear. It's a self-reporting tool that the government has set up. Someone reported that they turned into the Incredible Hulk. That's reported. In terms of those 50,000 deaths, do you know that as of October, I don't know if it's changed, there were only 9 provable deaths related to the vaccine. 9 provable deaths. If anyone thinks that that's a high number, and by the way, I'm sorry to those families. If anyone thinks that that's a high number, Motrin has killed more like people than the vaccine. I say that till I say there's not one medication that we have, not one vaccine that has that do not come with possible consequences. So in answer to your question, Gina, what the pathologist said could be true, but it may not be related to the vaccine. Did that make sense? Because I know I went all over the place.
Of course.
Hey, I'll be back in a few minutes.
We'll be here.
As we said, you guys, he is actually doing dual things today, because he is actually on our show, but he's actually on duty right now. As he had mentioned earlier, you guys know that there is a shortage of doctors, and he had mentioned that he was one of the doctors that was actually slowing down his practice and actually going out and being more of a speaker and informational doctor to the corporations. And so he has mentioned earlier that there's been a calling back to those doctors who may have slowed down their practice to do something else. And he is one of the doctors that answered the call to come back and do more service in practice than other things that he was doing. So I got to give it to him, Gina. I mean, wow. This thing is real, and it's hasn't gone away in a couple of months, as some people have said before. I've even had, that's what I was going to read. There are several people that are listening and watching us right now said that they had gone through some things in 18 and 19 as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do want to comment, and so I like making this comment while he's gone so we don't blow my little brother's big head up. But that's how you want your doctor. This is for me, because I have questions.
Yes.
And it's very important for us to ask questions. It's not being disrespectful. It's not feeling like, well, you have that degree in medicine and I don't, because we're all intelligent people. I do, doctors always caution me about looking up stuff on the internet, so I caution everybody about that, because you could think you have anything just with a sniffle. But the kind of interchange that Geoff is having with us as a lay audience, and we're not. This is not a medical forum. You and I are, really novice, and we try to do the best that we could do between medicine and our little naturopath, program that we're on. But that is the kind of, authority that I want to hear. I want to hear somebody who has read about it, who has some stats that they quote for me, that, they can speak intelligently and allow me to speak my questions. Anytime I hear that someone is going to try to shut me down in the questions that I'm asking about my health or my children's health, then that's a problem. And so I want to encourage everyone, because you have to be an advocate for your immediate family, first of all, when you go to a doctor, and especially when you're in the hospital. But you have to also be your own advocate, and you have to, demand that whomever is the physician, in whatever capacity, in whatever field of medicine that you are engaging in at that point, is willing to engage with you, to answer the questions, to clear your mind, because worry and stress, if those questions are not answered, if you're not already sick, will make you sick.
Mm. But you hit the nail on the head, because I think he was going that direction about, stress is more of a killer, even during this pandemic, that I've seen, that I've experienced, than anything else. Go ahead, Dr. Job. I see you shaking your head. More of the.
Oh no, I was just shaking in agreement with you. That's okay.
Yeah, and that's been my experience, though, Dr. Geoffrey. That stress more than anything else has been. It's to me, it's still the number one killer. The COVID. I know that I definitely had it 3 times, and I found ways to get over it. And what I wanted to, add to what I changed in what I was doing before. I'll say this to you guys, and I have said it to my audience over and over again, but for this conversation, when I got diagnosed with COVID, I had COVID one other time that was not diagnosed, and the second time that I had it, it was diagnosed. Well, when I was diagnosed that second time and was trying to get over it, it made me sit down, because where I worked, at the time, I know it's changed, at the time, they made you sit out 10 working days. So that's 2 weeks in essence for what I needed to do. And I am, most of you guys know me, I am a workaholic. But it made me sit down for those 2 weeks. And then when I got right back into working, I took a second look at, do I really needed to work all those hours that I was working? And the answer was no. I was able to, really reevaluate what was important for my time. Time is something that we spend that we never, ever can get back. And so, yeah, I was making pretty good money when I was working all those hours, but then I had to reevaluate what's more important, what is more valuable for me, and it was time. And so I redirected my time into, and that's how I got into really paying attention to my sleep habits and all that stuff that I wanted to aspire to. And I kept saying, oh, I'm going to do it later, or when I'm older, or when I can retire. But in actuality, COVID retired one of the jobs that I was working. I was working with 2 jobs at the time. And one job, I let it go. And best decision I've ever made.
Congratulations to you. And I think that the hallelujah shout out is that you had COVID 3 times and you survived. Congratulations. And then you were wise enough to make a life change, like, hey, God's blessed me with a few more lives. Let me make sure that I make them as enjoyable and as impactful as possible. Because after all, I think that we are all here to change the world on some level. And so people ask why, because the world needs to be changed, and it's the right thing to do. And it sounds like you created time in your life such that, hey, you can be on with God's work, of figuring out how to make this world a better, safer, kinder place.
Yeah. Yep. It's been the best decision since 2019. The second time I contracted was, 20. January of 20. I'm sorry. Where are we? 21. I'm sorry. January of 21. And that's when there was a drastic change from that point forward. So yeah. I'm glad I made it. Yep.
We're all sharing. So you mind if I share? So
I would love it.
I'm not as righteous as you, and so you all can judge me, but you are not God. So everybody, God's judging you too. So I picked up a bad habit during like COVID. So started cursing, and prior to COVID I didn't curse. It was just a general rule. But I can tell you what happened. So a lot of my friends were in some of these really difficult areas, New York. And so a lot of my colleagues. And so you can't call your family and tell them what's going on. So, they would call me and it just didn't feel right to say, man, that's messed up. And it didn't serve the purpose. So you say, man, that's, and so I got in the habit of cursing, and I don't know why, but it feels better. That's been the bad habit that I've developed. I'm gonna try to get. I know, Gina, you feel. Laura's not done with me yet.
Everybody picked up a bad habit in COVID. A lot of people picked up a bad habit in COVID. That's okay. That's life is life, and we go through cycles in life, Job. That's just it. Don't call my name in that, because I've had something right about here in the corner of the back of my mouth too. I'm just trying to. And God is merciful and does help me with those things, because I'm from the GI to the shy, and it was just part of, how I grew up. So I really, I can appreciate what you're saying.
Yes. Thank you for that. And so my point to your listening audience is, it's going to be okay. We've had some difficult moments. We picked up some bad habits, and just like you can pick up a bad habit, you can put it back down. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle, because no one, the world, do you hear me? The world, since its existence, has never seen anything like this. And so I say that till I say, what I've noticed as you were talking about stress, is that while this has been a stressful situation, people are not being kind enough to themselves. Yes. They're not being gentle. They're not giving themselves grace. I would encourage people, give yourself grace. There's a habit that I've developed as well, and it came during COVID, but not as a result of COVID. But I found it to be extremely helpful. Before I go to bed at night, I think of 5 things that I am grateful for. 5 things.
Nice.
And it puts my subconscious in the right mindset. And then when I wake up, before I get out of bed, I think about 5 things I am grateful for. It can be as simple as, oh, I got this warm cover. Or, oh, there's a cup of coffee downstairs waiting for me. And it gets me in the right mindset again. And I found that to be extremely helpful. And so I would encourage, just like people, just the fact you're listening to this, it means that I don't even know the folks listening, but it means the fact you're listening means that you got something to be grateful for. You can hear, you're breathing, you got a TV. I mean, the list goes on, and I haven't even met these folks. So I tell people, just while it may get difficult, give yourself grace, give other grace, and give God a little gratitude as well.
Amen. Ooh, you said a word right there. Dr. Geoffrey, thank you so much for
medicine for the body and the soul. Sit down, brother.
I like that.
Now, Varner, MD.
Well, this is toward the end of our show, Dr. Geoffrey. Where can people find you? Because let me tell you this. Not knowing that you guys knew each other, I found you during the COVID. I mean, because you were just so, a matter of fact, you were so down to earth, and it was we knew, I mean, as I was watching, we knew that you were a doctor and you had the information, but then at the same time, as Gina was talking earlier, I don't know if you heard her say this, but just your warm heart towards this, you can tell that you're not just practicing medicine. This is part of your ministry. This is part of your purpose here on earth, and it shows. And so I want my viewing and listening audience, you guys head on over to look at some of his lives. I mean, I just fell in love with you from there. And, that those lives, Dr. Joff, keep doing those things. Those things are amazing.
And he has a book.
Talk about your book. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Talk about all that before we go.
Talk about the book. So
yes.
Thank you. So my passion is, and by the way, thank you for those compliments. But part of my passion is raising successful, healthy, safe Black boys. So I had a bestseller from 2017. It was called Home Alive: 11 Must Steps for Surviving Police Encounters. In other words, I'm not on this bandwagon just because of like George Floyd. This is my life work, where it's protecting our young Black boys. Because no matter how you slice it, and I say this in front of my colleagues in many different settings, the world treats Black boys differently. And so that is my passion. But where I make my living is I go around the world and I teach executives, teams, how to make split-second decisions. In other words, we make about 35,000 decisions every day. Most of them are mundane and don't even matter, such as what to eat, what to drink, where to go. They don't even matter. But about 1% to 2% of those are life-changing and life-altering. And those are split-second decisions. In other words, if you learn how to make better split-second decisions, you improve your overall decision-making IQ. So that's what my book is about. Now, as it relates to how to listen to my COVID live talks, I do a Medical Mondays, and you can follow me on my personal page or on my business page. And it's at Geoffrey Mount Varner, MPH, or Geoffrey Mount Varner. And then I do a Freestyle Friday where the goal has been to move past COVID, just talk about medical stuff. But every time we move past COVID, something else happens. And so this Friday, we should be talking about heart disease. We will see. But hold on. I left my brothers out because I gave the 5 for the women. If you mind, I pivot back and give the 5 tests that men need to take as well. So there are 5 tests, brothers, that we need to take. One of them are, so make sure we get our blood pressure checked. Make sure that we get our lab work done where we want them to check our cholesterol and our hemoglobin A1C. The next one is make sure you get a PSA. That's a blood level that tests for your prostate. And then you want to get your colonoscopy. Yep. The colonoscopy is absolutely key. If you're over the age of 50, that's absolutely key. And this one should have gone with like PSA. Make sure you get your rectal exam. Yeah, nobody likes it, but that's what helps examine your like prostate. And fellas, I run across us in the ER. The beauty about being a Black doctor is that Black patients, they tend to speak to you very openly, and they're willing to have candid conversations. And I tell them, I'll brush up on them and say, brother, I feel you. Nobody wants that little finger for that rectal exam, but your family loves you, and the world needs you. And if that finger and for that rectal exam allows them to pick up something early, then go ahead and get that finger and get a hug from like somebody later. But get that rectal exam because it's absolutely key. So in summary, fellas, your colonoscopy, your PSA level, that is key. Getting your prostate exam, your blood pressure, as well as getting your basic labs, which include a hemoglobin A1C, as well as a fasting cholesterol level. Bam! So if you do that before it's time for the next show, then we will all be like proud of you. And to you, Angee and Gina, hey, the community thanks you for this service because we just need plain, honest talk. Yes. And I want to say, because I want to be clear, because Gina said something I didn't, I wanted to make sure that I fixed it. I'm in favor of supplements. I believe in supplements. But just as a scientist, you don't hear me endorsing it, because in order for me to endorse something, I've got to have some kind of paper.
Well, okay.
Which is why you heard me endorse vitamin D, because there's a paper.
Okay.
Zinc, and there are a few others. But just because I don't have a paper, it does not mean that some of those supplements don't work. I don't. I believe in supplements.
Awesome. Well, Gina, your
And
final.
we believe in you.
That's my girl.
That's your big sister for you. Go ahead, Gina. Your final
Oh,
words.
Yeah, no, I just, I know we're winding down here, and just want to thank, both of you. Angee, thanks for having me on today, and Geoff, thanks for your time and for moving around. I think, it's probably been very refreshing to actually see you at work and, having to pick up the phone call, because we know that you're taking care of people. And thank you for the education. And I thank God for the mind that he gave you. But more than anything, it's not just a medical mind. It's the heart behind the way that you practice and the way that you approach medicine. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, you guys, that's it for our show. And if you guys want any information, we have left his how you can get in contact with him on our Facebook and YouTube page. There is a link there where you guys can go directly to where you can find him. Do check him out as much as you can, guys, because like I said, Dr. Geoff, I've been trying to get you on for about a year, and I am so grateful that you said yes, and for such a time as this. Thank you, Gina, for facilitating this show as well. You've been a great supporter of this show. Thank you so much. We will be back next week, you guys. Next month is our Love Month, as well as Black History Month. You guys check out for shows. Next week is a live show, and the week after that, sorry, it is not a live show because it is Super Bowl Sunday, and I'll let you guys know. I will be watching Super Bowl with my family. All right, big time football fans. So you guys check us out next week for another live show for our Love Month, and we will see you guys then. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. See you next week. Love you, mean it. Take care.
I ain't protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time now. You can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time. No, you can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, spinning round like a carousel. Never sick, still looking well. They help me win on the battlefield. And I tell the truth like a tattletale. And I'm out of jail like I'm out on bail. And I don't feel like I don't tell the whole truth. Without Christ, it's like a ship without a sail. Look, back in the day, lacking away. I just happen to pray after the day. He just happened to say he loves me. Defeated my enemies like an animal. Attacking to pray, they say he evil. Jesus, he just wanna save people. Ain't no way we gonna stay equal. Grab your wings and soar with the eagles. Protected by the shield and by the sword. Every blessing that you got comes by the Lord. He got keys to the gates and keys to death and hell and the grave. He'll set you free like you was a slave. You'll run real fast like you was the I am protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time now. You can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time. No, you can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected in this bubble like bubble wrap. He's knocking on the door of your heart like double tap. Praise him twice, double clap. He just set up a double trap. The enemy fell in and God chopped him with his double axe. Facts, all of the chains he is breaking it. Satan's kingdom he is shaking it. All this evil I am forsaking it. The kingdom of heaven I'm making it. Made in Satan, hating blessings. You know I'm gon' rake in. Ain't going nowhere, they all stay in. If you wonder where I'm at, I'm gon' face in. It's water. Oh yes, no stress, and he will bless you. Holiness holiness, holiness. I roll with the Lord, ain't no loneliness. Only this power of God, I am holding it. Taking my freedom back, I am not loaning it. I am protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time now. You can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time. No, you can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected.
You and I have to let the man know is we are peaceful people. We are loving people. We love everybody who loves us. But we don't love anybody who doesn't love us. We're nonviolent with people who are nonviolent with us. But we are not nonviolent with anyone who is violent with us.
History, life in quarantine. Nowhere to hide, it's worldwide. We can agree to disagree, but it don't matter now. This is life. We can chill face to face and debate what is fact and what has been a lie. We can pull every card and go hard with the truth, yet be brutalized. When it's all said and done, what we have and what we want won't bring back alive. All we really need to do is hang on and speak life.
To bring about the complete independence of people of African descent here in the Western Hemisphere, and first here in the United States, and bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary.
In every way, let the people see, let them see, and make sure you know you're right. Oh, when you speak, don't believe, no, this is your defeat. Don't incriminate your mind. Oh, be free. Let us join hand in hand as we stand and demand our equality. Let them know how you feel, 'cause you wanna walk across the street stress-free without that hand. When it's all said and done, what we have and what we want won't bring back alive. All we really need to do is stand strong and speak life. It's your life. Come on. Will you fight? It's time. Yeah.
But when someone attacks you, when someone comes at you with a club, when someone comes at you with a rope, when someone comes at you with a gun, despite the fact that you've done nothing, he tells you, suffer peacefully. Pray for those who use you despitefully. Be long-suffering. And how long can you suffer after suffering for 400 years?
Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you tried, things just still go wrong?
Many times.
What do you do?
I let go and let God.
All I'm asking from you is to bump up our credit limit to where it was.
It's declined.
We're experiencing some financial hardships at the moment.
You have 6 days to make payment.
I can't believe this is happening.
You know, I never asked you to pray with me.
It's you and me. We got this. God wants to help you, Peter.
Excuse me?
But you're not letting him in.
I did once. Last time we spoke, you took a man away from me I loved dearly. From that day, I swore to take matters into my own hands. But now I don't know what to do.
I know that you don't believe, but I will pray for you.
I love you so much.
Capimo.
It was a miracle. You believe in miracles?
Listen, if you need me, you call me. All of the angels in heaven are rejoicing. You gotta know that everything is gonna be okay.
It's been long enough that you've been walking around in the wilderness trying to figure out, who am I? Why am I here? What gifts do I have to make a difference? Well, it's time to warm it up. Discover your true identity, unleash your gifts, and impact the world to become a more bolder, braver, and courageous you. Join me, Kathy Hood, at a life-changing workshop, Woman Up, the journey of owning your power and unleashing your true self.
Hi, this is Amos Johnson, pastor of Church for Entrepreneurs. Let's level up. Check them out.
You are listening to Level Up with Sisters of the Skies Incorporated.
Hey, this is Richard Shaw Jr. Make sure you're believing again. Also, level up.
Hey, this is Gina A. Townsend. I'm joining the real Level Up with your host, Angee from the B and Mr. Scribe. Real talk that takes you higher every Sunday, live on Facebook and YouTube.
Vibe with Mr. Scribe and Angee from the B, from the Real Level Up, Sundays 3 to 5 on YouTube.
This is Allison Feliciano. Listen or watch Level Up each and every Sunday. Keep it locked, right here.
The broadcast of Facebook Live has stopped.